Here I go, here I go, here I go. Yeah, here I go, here I go.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Take Podcast. I'm your host, Jackson Burleson, and I'm joined by Atlanta Falcons fan Matt Marsh in today's episode. Appreciate you joining in.
Yeah, man. No, I appreciate you for having me. It's gonna be dope. Super excited.
Now, today's episode, we've got a lot to talk about. The Cowboys are looking like the best team in the league right now. Bijan Robinson, obviously, he's been insane his first two games. Top three running back, as he got the jersey on right there. And then Nick Chubb's out for the year. That's kind of that sucks. We're going to talk about that as well. But I want to start out with Justin Fields. He's struggled against Tampa. He was 16 of 29, 211 yards and two interceptions. Not really progressing quickly with passing as I thought he would. But is he the guy? Like, how much time does he have left to prove to the Chicago Bears that he is the franchise guy?
It's so tough. I feel like they need another I feel like they need to go through another set of coaching staff because I don't know what's going on with the because he doesn't look great, obviously.
Did you
But
see
the
him
play
blame the
calling,
coaches? Did you see him blame the
yeah, I
coaches
saw
for his
that.
robotic play?
I did see that. That was a horrible end to the game. I think that their play calling is also not looking very good. Like on offense, like they're getting a lot of screen plays, a lot of dump offs that are just clearly not working, and they'll keep going back to it. And it's like Fields, there's something different about him this year. He doesn't look the same. I don't know if it's his confidence. I don't know if it's play calling. I don't
He
know what
said
it
he
is. But
was he said he was thinking about the game too much. He said because he blamed the coaches and he kept saying
yeah,
like the
I saw
coaches are
that.
making him think too much, so he's not able to like play free. So that's kind of
Yeah.
weird because that seems like a first year thing, and he's in his third year. So
Yeah, like he looked more comfortable to start out last year, which is really weird because the competition, it's not like it's much better than it was to start out the year last year.
no,
So I don't know what it is, but he just looks shaky. Like he doesn't look right. Something's off. I don't know what
he's
it is.
missing
I
like
know he's talented. He's got DJ Moore now, good weapon. Had a good game last game, even though he was a little quiet in the first game. But he had Jair on him. Like, what are you gonna do? Is what it is.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he was like the thing I noticed the most was like he was very slow to read the field. Like he would
yeah, he was.
miss, like he would
Yeah.
just miss a wide open guy. Like he did it a couple times and he would just take too long to throw it. I
Yeah,
don't know
I don't
what
know
it
if you saw
was.
that clip of when he tried to like completely escape the pocket and like tried to run through two guys and ended up getting sacked, but he had like
Oh
someone
yeah, I did
wide
see
open
that.
in the end zone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it was Komet, I think. That was
yeah,
something like that. He like did like he was literally in the end zone and he just
yeah.
didn't pick it from him.
Komet fantasy owners aren't too happy about that one.
No, yeah, I have him on my bench and he got me like 5 points, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Justin Fields has no excuses this year. He's got receiving core. He's got everything he
yeah.
needs.
I do still think
They're
there's
looking
a
bad.
problem in the coaching staff, and I still think that the Bears as a franchise again have always struggled with quarterbacks, and I think something needs to change because I don't know if you saw Stephen A. Smith, but he was saying that he thinks that Fields would be successful on another team.
That's what a
So I
lot of
don't know
people
what it
say.
is yet. Yeah, I don't know what it is yet, but something's got to switch because it's not looking great right now,
No,
especially
it's
for some of the Bears fans that were calling out a 12-5 season or something. Like it's not looking great so far. Yeah.
yeah, I don't
Not
know.
looking
And they
great.
play the Chiefs this week, so
That's not really the start you're looking for.
yeah, that's a
I mean,
tough
who
matchup.
knows? If Fields can run for 250 and three touchdowns, who knows?
He hasn't really like showcased his running ability as nearly as much. I feel like he's in the pocket a lot more, and I don't think he's
Yeah,
used to it.
that's what's weird about the start is he doesn't look as comfortable as he did last year.
'Cause I think it's a lot of newness with the coaching and everything. I think
Yeah.
when he was like talking about it in the media, I don't think he wanted to blame the coaches, but I think it just what he said came off that way. So I don't think
Yeah.
he meant to say that, but because as a quarterback, you're going to get all the blame and you're going to get all the credit when things go good and bad. So
Oh yeah, for sure. For
but
sure.
I don't know. It's going to be tough. Is he the guy? Yeah, but by the end of the season, if he keeps playing like this, like he very well could be out of Chicago. Like they could move on.
Yeah, I think personally I do think that It's weird because I want to say he can be the guy. It's because I think he's super talented. You saw it in high school. You saw it at Ohio State. I think he's super talented. I just think something isn't right on the team. It
I
because
agree.
it just doesn't even look as good as it did like last year.
I agree. I agree. Let's move on to Nick Chubb real quick.
Oh,
That leg injury was, and he had the same one in 2015 at Georgia.
yeah,
These
I
celiac
saw a
injuries.
side by side yesterday of them, and it was like, wow.
Like he has to completely have his knee reconstructed. Like he's going to be out for a while. But my opinion, since the Browns are getting Kareem Hunt, I don't think it impacts them as much as it would have. If
No,
you
you don't think that Kareem Hunt's going to show a little bit of rust or anything?
No, I mean, of course he's going to show a little bit rust, but he's comfortable in that offense. He's been on the Browns before, so he knows what they need him to do. So I don't think
Yeah.
it's going to be an easy transition for him coming back because he knows the offense.
Do you think that he starts right out the gate as the third down, like 3 down bell cow, or do you think Jerome Ford will still get the majority of the touches?
I think Jerome Ford will get the touches this week, but moving forward, depending on how he plays, I think Kareem Hunt will definitely his volume will increase week by week.
You don't think it's going to be like a mostly receiving role?
No, I don't think so because I think they could really utilize Kareem Hunt's speed for that
Yeah.
offense to generate explosive plays. Because since Chubb is gone now, he was kind of that guy that could generate the explosive plays, and now you got Kareem Hunt, who's not a bad running back at all. I mean, he's been very good throughout his career. He's just had a lot of off the field issues, but he is good. Like he can be the bell cow for the Browns. And
Yeah, and I even think Nick Chubb started to show signs of life in the receiving game this year too.
yeah,
Uh,
it's just so annoying because like he's come back from this injury before, but coming back from it twice,
yeah,
that's going to be really difficult.
100%. I agree.
But I don't think it hurts the Browns. I think it hurts the Browns, but I don't think it hurts them as bad as people might think.
No, I just think I need to see a little bit, like I need to see better out of Deshaun Watson, is what it is for me.
Yeah, yeah, he was
He
kind of
still doesn't
careless with
look
the football.
comfortable.
He was like, I don't know,
Yeah,
he just doesn't look the same since he's come back. Like even
yeah.
last year, like he was kind of the
I,
same way.
I think it might be a confidence issue. He doesn't look on point like he used to be. He still can escape the pocket. Like, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah, he
yeah,
can still run, but
he had some inaccurate passes the other day. Like, it was not looking great. I know he's playing the Steelers defense. He has T.J. Watt running at him every play and Highsmith, but he threw a pick six like right out the gate.
is there
So
any way the Browns can come out of the AFC still?
in terms of playoffs, you're saying?
Yeah.
Um, I think if they had any shot, it would be on the back of the defense. Because I think they have one of the best defenses they've had in their franchise in the last few years, 100%.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. They get to the passer very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Well,
Miles
Miles
Garrett is
Garrett,
special.
yeah.
He's a
Mm-hmm.
special talent.
Mm-hmm.
He's just so big and he's so fast. You can't
Hard
really
to believe
compete.
he doesn't have a Defensive Player of the Year yet.
Yeah, it is
But,
kind of crazy. But you got guys like Micah Parsons and stuff like that. That
yeah.
we'll get into that. Speaking of teams with good defenses, the Patriots. They were
Yeah.
against the Dolphins. They were hanging in there. And you see that? Did you see that field goal block they had where they kind of had a guy come over like last minute, and he just
Oh yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah, it was very well written up.
yeah, that was insane. You can just see Bill Belichick's coaching just helping the Patriots be competitive because they played the Eagles and the Dolphins, arguably two of the best offenses in the NFL, and they only lost by one possession.
Yeah, it shows you that when you have Belichick, anything you could win anything. You could win any game. Like you're always going to be competitive. That defense is always strong.
No, it's always strong. Like even when Brady was there, the defense was always one of the strengths of that team.
Yeah, and I think Matthew Judon is an unreal player.
Yeah, he's insane. I think Mac
Yeah.
Jones has been very good this year as well. I think he's been
Yeah,
very
has been good. I think he found his new favorite target in Hunter Henry.
yeah, 100. Yeah, he's on my fantasy team. He's went like I think he's had back-to-back weeks with 14 points.
Yeah, I just picked him up because
Yeah,
Kyle
he's good.
Pitts, obviously, we don't know what's happening there. So,
But I think the Patriots are better than people think. Like I think they're going to compete in that division. Like I think they're
I
going to
do
be
too. I generally do too. Like honestly, it wouldn't shock me if they could finish higher than the Jets.
I think they're better than the Jets right now. Like
Probably.
I think Mac
Yeah.
Jones is better than Zach Wilson.
Yeah, I want to see Zach Wilson actually finally play a game where he's not either coming in where he's not expected to play in prime time or against the best defense in the NFL. Then I want to see I want to see how he'll play because I didn't think he looked too bad in the first half.
Yeah, he was all right, but
He did what he needed to do, but that team is just unreal.
yeah, that division's weird because a lot changed because Aaron Rodgers is now gone, so he's not playing this year. Patriots actually have a chance. I thought they were good against the Eagles too, but
I thought they hung around. I thought the Eagles let them hang around way too much in that game, and I actually thought they were going to win that game. If it wasn't for the receiver not getting 1 foot in bounds, like they would have. I think they could have won that game.
no, yeah, 100%. They could
It
be
was
2-0 right now.
stressful.
They could be
Yeah,
2-0.
100%, 100%.
They could be.
Yeah,
2-0 teams, Cowboys, they're 2-0. They've been
yeah,
dominant. 70 points in the first two games, only allowing
yeah,
10 points. Like,
yeah.
is this the year for my Cowboys to finally win it all?
I, as of right now, they are my pick. Yes. I really like what I saw from Dak last week. What did he start the game 12 and 12 for
He was
12 or
like he was
something?
like
It was like
13,
a career high.
13 for 13.
Yeah,
Like
that
that
was a
was
career
insane.
high for him. Like he was looking sharp against a really top 5 defense.
Yeah, he's
Um,
he's looked great.
yeah,
I'm not
he
asking
looks
him to do
really
too
he
much.
impressed me a lot. And obviously that defense is just nothing to mess around with. Like I think Micah Parsons has an argument to be the best non-quarterback in the NFL. Straight up. I think
Yeah.
he's so good. Like I don't know if you saw that clip of him like basically doing what Miles Garrett did where he danced around the O lineman and then just blew right by him.
Do you
Like
see
he's
that? Like
toying with guys.
when the Cowboys they do this like block where it's like they have like a certain amount of people go to a certain side of the line and then Parsons goes around. So
Yeah.
like they can't really double team him. Like Dan Quinn
No.
does a very good job of putting Micah Parsons in situations to succeed
Oh,
because he
Dan
is the
Quinn, we
best
miss you.
player on the defense and offensive lines are gonna try to double team him, but somehow he's still not getting double teamed.
Falcons Nation, we miss Dan Quinn. But hey, he's doing a very, very good job with that team. That defense is stellar. I don't know if you saw, but two of the Cowboys corners right now are top 5 in the league with allowing the least amount, like the worst passer rating by quarterbacks. Like they just cannot throw on the Cowboys secondary right now. Like I know they played Zach Wilson and Daniel Jones, so we'll see.
Yeah, but like I mean, they
But
barely
right
did.
now they're looking like they own the New York teams. That's
No,
all
yeah,
I'm
we
gonna say.
do. Like, and
Yeah.
we don't, this week we don't have a test, so it's not going to really,
Yeah, I know you're playing the Cardinals. Like I really don't think you lose that game.
don't have a test there. But I think this is the year for us to win the Super Bowl. Dak needs to continue.
Definitely my pick right now.
Like, the only thing that Dak needs to do is just not throw interceptions. Like, he doesn't have to be spectacular, like, by any means. Like, he just has to manage the game. Like, that's it.
Yeah, and CD looked really good too.
No, CD is like people who were clowning me on TikTok saying like I was stupid for putting CD Lamb in as a top 10 receiver.
I don't understand that argument. You have to if you can name 10 receivers better than CD Lamb, I would be surprised. That
no,
man is
yeah. He's
very
different.
good.
He's different. He's a good route runner. He's physical. Even though he's kind of smaller, he's very, very physical with you. He's gonna let you know he's there.
And he's got that swag to him.
Yeah, he's got that 88 swag. Like whenever Cowboy receivers wear that 88, like they just got a different mentality to them. Like
Exactly.
carries over. That's how it works.
100%.
Let's talk about your boy Bijan real quick.
Oh,
Dude, this guy, like, I've never seen such clean jukes in my life. Like, he makes something out of nothing. Like, both of his touchdowns that he had, like, they're just that nothing was there, and he created that whole situation for him to get in the end zone. I'm just like,
yeah. What I think is really impressive about him, which you just said, basically, is with those jukes, is that he's not a guy that needs to do a big juke and then throw himself off his play so linebackers can come and hit him because he did this big juke. He subtly jukes everyone and still goes exactly where he's supposed to go, but makes 3 guys miss in the process. Like if he's supposed to run a stretch, he'll run that the whole time, but he
yeah,
jukes 3 guys in the process.
And I also like how the Falcons are using him. They're kind of putting him in the slot and then they're motioning him and then they're putting
Yeah,
Algier in the backfield. I actually kind of like having two running backs in at the same time. Like it kind of
me
confuses the
too.
defense a little bit. And
Yeah,
Bijan and Algier can both receive. So it makes them
yeah.
very dangerous. I think the Falcons are a very good team, like surprisingly.
Yeah, I think the run game is just something to not joke around about. Like that run game can beat any team in the league if they can't stop it. Like if they struggle to stop it, it's going to be very hard to beat that Falcons team because their defense is playing really well right now.
No,
And
yeah, you guys showed up against the Packers. I mean, you made
yeah, we did. We shut Jordan Love down in the fourth quarter. Like it was very very nice to watch as a Falcons fan, seeing that our defense has not been great the last few years. But if you're playing us, you need to stop the run because Bijan right now is averaging 4 yards after contact per attempt. That's insane. Like he's in terms of skill sets, I think him and Christian McCaffrey are in a tier of their own. I don't think that you have guy. I mean, you could throw in Eckler in there too because he is very useful in the
yeah.
passing game. Um, but I think in terms of where you could use those guys, those three guys are in a tier of their own because Barkley, he's shown that he's struggled to stay on the field. He doesn't have the same O line as those guys do. But
Yeah.
yeah, Bijan being a top three back, I could see it. He's getting comparisons to LaDainian Tomlinson already.
Yeah, and
Like
he's
he just so good, so strong, so fast.
5 pounds. Like he's
He's a
not,
big boy. Yeah, should not be moving like that.
but he looks small though. Like when I watch him on TV, like he looks so tiny and he looks so fast, but you wouldn't know he's 205 pounds. You're just like,
No, and there's something about him that I saw a couple of analysts were saying, but there's something about Bijan Robinson that you get this feeling when he's about to get the ball that you think he could just take it to the house in one play. Like you're ready to see what's about to happen. You know you're going to see a show as soon as he touches the ball.
he was showing that ability. Like I think he's going to continue to show that ability all year. Like his
Me too.
speed is,
Knock on wood, he stays healthy, but he's second in the league in rushing while he's splitting carries with Algier. Like that's
that's
impressive.
impressive. That's hard to
Yeah,
do. Like
yeah.
I didn't think honestly, like before the season started, I thought that was going to affect his numbers, but it hasn't. Like you were right. Like he's getting
Yeah, like I think McCaffrey's like 80 yards in front of everyone, but at the same time, he's getting 22, 23 touches a game. He's not splitting with anyone.
yeah, he's getting the majority of the touches because he's the guy.
Like I think Elijah Mitchell last game had 4 touches.
Yeah, he
Like
hasn't really. He's not really
doing anything. Yeah.
no, no. I think moving on to something else. I think Anthony Richardson is the best rookie quarterback in the first 2 weeks, but he has concussion, so I think he might be out for this week's game because he hasn't practiced yet. But I've seen everything I needed to see from him. Like he's got a strong arm. He's very talented. He's good at outside the pocket, and his arm talent is just unreal. Like he can sling it. Like and his rushing ability. Like I compared him to Deshaun Watson, like during the summertime, and I think he's definitely living up to that because his running upside is insane.
Yeah, 100%. In terms of best rookie quarterbacks right now, I would say, yeah, probably he's ahead of that pack. But I think the player that will have the best NFL career, barring what happens with his franchise, is CJ Stroud. Like, I think Stroud is also so. I think him and Richardson are neck and neck, man. I think
No,
he
I
showed
agree.
it last game. Stroud is his arm
Yeah,
talent is also unreal. And I've always thought since college that he might be the best pro out of all of them.
and he's thrown for 626 yards in 2 games,
And no
no
interceptions.
interceptions. Like he
Yeah, he
was
threw
like,
384 yards in his second game. Well, dude, he's making Nico Collins look like a stud who's been hyped up the last few years to be their wide receiver one, but Davis Mills was not giving him production. And now CJ Stroud's in there. You can immediately see a change in that offense. Like I know they got new coaching staff and all that. That probably did a lot for that team. But Stroud, man, he's looking really impressive.
and those matchup like Richardson and Stroud, like those are going to be matchups for years to come. Like they're going to be
Hopefully, I just hope Richardson can maybe like not take as many hits as he's been taking because if you want
yeah.
your career a while. Like he's taking big hits, and I know he's a big guy, but
Yeah, he is taking really big hits. That's the thing I'm worried about too. But I mean, I get why he's doing it. But yeah, because he's the Colts running game right now. Like with no
right now,
Jonathan
yeah,
Taylor,
without
like he's
JC,
their running game.
yeah,
And
yeah, because honestly,
I'm surprised they're as good as they are. Like everyone was writing off
yeah,
saying they're going to be one of the worst teams in football without Jonathan Taylor, and they're still managing to be competitive. Like they almost beat the Jaguars. They beat the Texans, which Texans are a bad football team, but I
Minshew is no joke, man.
he
Like
wasn't bad
Minshew's
either.
also good too. No, he looked good coming out the gate.
He's always been
It's so funny
solid.
though. I don't know if you remember when we were on that TikTok live when we were with that Texans fan who was telling us that they
Oh
would
yeah. Oh
rock
yeah.
the like look through 2 weeks, it's not looking great for you.
Yeah, what's happening?
But
Yeah, it's 0-2 right now.
they've been competitive. The Colts, they look a lot better than I thought they were going to. I just think Richardson's had like an injury already kind of through the first 2 weeks because I don't know if you remember week one, but when he got up slowly after that hit at the goal line, like that's
Oh yeah, I did. I did.
two injuries. So he's got to be careful, man.
Yeah, that concussion is gonna kind of hurt him a little bit, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But we're gonna talk about one more quarterback before we get into week 3 predictions. I think Russell Wilson is back. I know they lost, but he was amazing. Like the heroics at the end of that game, like that's what I want to see Russell Wilson doing. I know they lost, but I think that's a good loss. Like I don't think it's bad. Commanders are
Oh
not a
yeah.
bad football team. Like
No,
Chase
100%.
that
That's a
football
good
game.
loss.
I mean, that's hard to deal with. Like that Washington team is no joke. Like
Dude, Cameron Payne, I don't know if you remember this, but or I don't know if you were watching it or if you saw it, but the top of the start of the third quarter, I was going to say top of the inning, start of the third quarter. I don't know if you saw it, but like Cameron Payne single-handedly forced a 3-and-out on that offensive line. He sacked first play, tackle for loss second play, pass deflection at the line of scrimmage third play. He's like that defense is legit.
no, they're good, and you can tell when Chase Young's on the field, like how much better they.
It's different. It's different. Yeah, he's the X factor of that defense because he is so good. Like he is so good, and that offense of Denver, man, I don't even know if they put up 33 points combined in their first 2 weeks last year.
No,
So like people want to say, oh, they're 1-1 with Nathaniel Hackett. Now they're 0-2 with Sean Payton. That offense looks way better. And
oh yeah,
they're also doing it without Judy, just to say. Like Marvin Mims is looking really good.
yeah. I mean, their first 2 games, the Broncos lost by 1 to the Raiders, and then they lost by 2. So like they're in positions to win. They just need to close it out at the end.
Exactly. I think that defense maybe needs to clean it up because I don't think they're looking as strong as they were last year so far. Obviously, having a guy like Pat Surtain, you shut down one whole side of the field.
Yep.
But I think the defense will get better is what I'm going to say, and so will that team. But I totally agree with you. I think Russell Wilson is back. I think last year it was new team, coaching that just didn't benefit him. Injuries as per usual for that team. Their weapons get hurt a lot. Like Tim Patrick's out for the year again. But I do agree with you that I think he's on his way to a way better year than it was last year, 100%.
And I like the Broncos pass rush with Randy Gregory. Like he's
me too. Gregory's very good.
He's very disruptive.
Yeah.
I remember when he was on the Cowboys. Like I wish he was still there, but
yeah,
he is unbelievable. Like I knew when they got him, when they signed him, I was like, yeah, he's gonna make an impact on that defense, and he has.
100%. Yeah,
100%. Going to and all these questions about is Russell Wilson? Like I was one of these guys saying, oh, Russell Wilson's playing his way all the hall now, but now he's not. I think he's playing well. Like throwing.
Yeah, I don't think you can. I never think you can judge a player like that in his first year on a new team after being on another team for years and years and years. You got to see what happens through a few years. You can't just base it on 1 year because it was a mess last year is what it was. And this year it looks a lot better already, regardless of the 0-2 record. That's kind of misleading when you look at that. But when you actually watch their games, their offense looks way better.
No, yeah, 100%.
It was gross last year.
Week 3 predictions. Let's do Broncos Dolphins. That's a
I think we both probably will know our pick here, but I do think it's a close game.
I think it is too. I think the Dolphins will get it done at home.
Me too. I think that the Broncos defense right now is struggling a bit in the passing game. They're struggling to defend the pass, and that explosive Miami Dolphins offense, I think they'll get it done.
Yeah, I like Tua right now. Tua
Yeah.
looks different. Like he is
Yeah.
all the doubters wrong. Like
100%. Let's just knock
Like-
on wood he stays healthy, and that man, I think he can win MVP. I've said it.
yeah, he could. He could. Like if he can, he's leading the league in passing right now. If he continues to do that, like, and they continue to win, like I think they could be undefeated for a while. Like I think
their coach has a very good chance of winning Coach of the Year. I think he's the favorite right now.
no, he's so smart. Like with his play calling,
Good.
like he's just a genius, and he knows how to use Tyreek Hill and many
And Tua, because when Tua plays, that offense is so much different. Like they last year, I believe they were like first in almost every offensive stat before Tua went down.
Yeah,
And
they were
Tyreek was
like
for
7-1, 7-1 with Tua, 7-0,
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that. I mean,
Yeah.
they were
And
best teams last year with him on the field.
Tyreek Hill was on pace for 2,000 yards.
Yeah, I don't like it when Dolphins fans were like, "Yeah, Tua's not that good." Like, he's good. Like he's
He is
proven
good.
that.
Yeah.
Proven that. Like, I don't want to hear anything else about Tua being bad or whatever. Like, I don't want to hear it anymore.
Oh, he has no arm strength. Dude, he threw
he can
460 yards in week one. What do you mean he has no arm strength?
like, dude, like even in Alabama, like he was slinging the ball. Like he was still
100% he was.
like it's been there. Like his arm strength's been there. It just
Yeah.
I don't understand that. I don't understand why.
Me either.
It kind of annoys me a little bit, but
Yeah, I'm on the same boat.
let's go to the Cowboys Cardinals. This is probably gonna be a quick one, but I've obviously got
that's probably the easiest one of the week. No disrespect to Cardinals fans. It's just the Cowboys are on another level. That team all around is so well built, and it's just their confidence is through the roof right now. You see Micah Parsons' podcast.
yes.
You know, like he's been
guy
he
is
knows
literally
that.
Lawrence Taylor. He's literally Lawrence Taylor.
He is the only guy that I've seen get those comparisons in the last few years, because comparing someone to Lawrence Taylor is not something that you can just throw on any player.
No,
But
you gotta be that dude.
you have to be special to get those comparisons. And Micah Parsons, like I said, he has an argument to be the best non-quarterback player in the NFL. I personally think he is. I think he's the best defensive player. I know a lot of people still have TJ Watt up there. But personally, I have Parsons. I think that his speed, I think the mix of that defense and him, I don't think anyone really works harder on that defense than Micah Parsons. I think he goes from every single position in the front seven. He can easily.
Yeah.
Fastest D lineman in the league. I don't think that's really a debate, to be honest, because effective speed, though, not just speed.
Yep.
He uses his speed super effectively. Like the guy was beating Tyreek Hill in a race. Like I know Tyreek Hill was wearing jeans or whatever, but still, that's impressive.
Do you think Micah Parsons can win MVP this season?
No, only because I think he would need multiple touchdowns. That team would have to be almost undefeated, and he would have to break the sacks record for that to happen, only because it's a quarterback award.
Yeah.
I think he's getting Defensive Player of the Year. He's my pick right now to win Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, I've
But
heard
MVP is
conversation. That's tough.
MVP is so hard.
That's tough for a guy on defense. It really is. I don't like. I can't. It could happen, but it's hard.
I think Tyreek Hill can go for 2,000 yards this year, and I don't think he'd win MVP. I think it would be Tua. It's a quarterback award, man. Until that gets proven wrong, I think if there was a non-quarterback that could do it, I think Parsons could do it 100%.
Yeah, I mean he's the best player on that Cowboys team. Like it's.
Would you predict a blowout this week?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I would say.
Or like
probably,
the
I would say you'd probably put up 30 again. I think
Cardinals struggled last week against the Giants. Like they lost to the Giants and we beat them by 40 points. Like
and they were up 28-7 against the Giants.
That was bad.
I thought the Giants were going to lose at one point. And I was like, "Ooh, it's going to be a long season for the G-men."
Yeah,
but
I think the Giants are weird right now. I think
and now Saquon's out for weeks. Oh,
And the Steelers play the Raiders this week. That's another game.
Raiders, that's an interesting one.
That's a close one. I'm gonna go Steelers on that one
Me too, yeah.
because of what I saw on Monday Night Football against the Browns. Kenny Pickett, it took him a little bit to get comfortable in that game, but he found his rhythm finally. And the Najee Harris looked very physical running the football. George Pickens looked okay. I want to see George Pickens take a leap this week against that Raiders.
Pickens had I would say he had a solid game last week. He had 4 receptions for 127 and a touchdown.
I want to see him continue to do that because he keeps.
Yeah, me too. But I think that offense needs to clean it up. Like I think that offense needs to make a bit of a jump because the Steelers' offense right now is what's holding them back from being an elite team. I think because their defense is solid. I think
their defense is good.
I think they could beat the Raiders single-handedly because of their defense. But I want to see the Steelers' offense make a jump because I know the Raiders' O-line is not very good. And T.J. Watt and Highsmith, it might be a long day for that O-line. But I hope that offense can look a little bit better than it has the last 2 weeks. That's all I'm going to say. But I think that the Steelers will get it done. I agree.
I want to see the Raiders had a rough week against the Bills. I watched that game. I watched that game, and I was like, they were in it, and then they kind of just
they scored first, right?
Yeah, they scored first. It was tied. It was tied up, and then the Bills just started pulling away. Garoppolo made an interception. That kind of was it right there. I like Garoppolo. I mean, I think he's a very good quarterback, but it's not.
We'll see what Najee Harris does this week because I know James Cook tore them apart on the ground last week.
Yeah. James Cook is very good. Very good.
Najee has not looked very good. He looks physical, but he doesn't look as explosive as I think people were hoping he would. Like I don't know, there was this video going around where people were saying he looks like he's running in slow motion, which I mean, he's a big back. Like he's a big back. I just
finding like me of Zeke a little bit, like when he kind of like started to go down a little bit. Like he's kind of
me too. And I also really like Jalen Warren. I think he's getting almost all the receiving game now, instead of Najee. And Jalen Warren, he's all like I think he looks a little bit more explosive at the moment than Najee does.
So we're both going Steelers on that one.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that one's kind of an easy one, but it'll be close.
Who knows? Yeah, Raiders like to shock people.
Ravens, Colts. Who do you got in that one?
Richardson, like you said, I don't think he's playing this week. I think Lamar has an argument right now that he might be the best quarterback in football. He's playing the best right now. He has an argument that he's playing the best football out of any quarterback right now. In terms of doing what it takes to win games, he's completing 74% of his passes right now.
Wow.
And I don't know if you saw his long ball last week to Zay Flowers, but dude, he's putting balls on the money. He is putting balls on the money.
I did see that. And they've been very good on third down too. Like
100%. And obviously the football gods are doing them dirty again with the injuries. They're the most injured team in football right now again, but they still finding a way to get it done. And Lamar is showing you why he's won 75% of his games. Like, I think that without Anthony Richardson, I think the Ravens will get it done. If that offense continues to look solid, even with all the injuries, I think they can get it done. I'm just hoping it's not a slow game because it could also be a slow game.
Yeah, I think Lamar Jackson, like he's a player that can obviously run, but he doesn't want to do that. Like,
no, I think he's looked very good as a pocket passer this year. And you like we were talking about Justin Fields earlier. There's those are two very mobile, very athletic, very electric quarterbacks. And there's one, I know one has more experience. He has an MVP. There's one that looks super comfortable in the pocket and the other one that looks very shaky.
Yeah. And you can tell Lamar Jackson is comfortable back there. Like all those
he looks very good.
Are running, like he's just standing in the pocket when he gets the football. And
he's making great reads.
He is so insanely accurate. Like people always say, like, oh, his accuracy is not good. Like if you watch the games, you can tell that he's putting the ball on the money each time.
This is his first year with legit weapons. Like, I don't know why people still don't take that into account. Like, the year he won MVP, you know who his second leading receiver was? Willie Snead. I don't know where that guy is right now. Like, no disrespect to Snead, but he was there was Snead, Hollywood Brown, and Mark Andrews kind of coming out party. So this is the first time he's legit had weapons. Obviously, OBJ just went down with another ankle.
I was going to bring that up. Is that going to affect him? Because he's very injury prone.
He seems, the staff is making it seem like right now that it's not too severe. Like
they said he's going to play, but
he looked good last week, man. Like the reps that he got, Lamar was feeding him. And obviously, I still think Zay Flowers is the wide receiver one in that offense. He just looks so good. But like Odell looked good. I hope this injury doesn't open the floodgates for multiple injuries this year.
That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
That's what I'm worried about. But
I got
another thing, I'm hoping Lamar can stay healthy as well. Because
me too.
He hasn't been able to make it the whole season.
Yeah.
So he needs to stay healthy. If he's done, like the Ravens are done. Like that's
even though Tyler Huntley is a Pro Bowler.
Yeah. I mean, he plays, he knows the offense, but I'm not gonna say Kyle Huntley is gonna be a difference maker when he comes into the
Yeah.
But another team, I want to go in another game. We got a couple more games to get into. Titans, Browns. The Titans last week, they beat the Chargers in overtime, but they lost to the Saints by 1 point in week 1. So I don't know what to think of the Titans right now. Their run game is obviously very good. They still have ginormous Derrick Henry, who's a massive human being back there. You can just give him the football and he'll get you a first down.
And they got a great handcuff in Tajay Spears. I think he's very good too. I think he had like 48 yards on 4 carries last week.
His impact on the offense too. Like he's shown why he's a top 10 receiver. Like he's a difference.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the game, like D-Hop had that insane catch in overtime to put the Titans in field goal range. Like that's a big play by a big time player.
Age doesn't seem to bother him. I don't think age matters when it comes to DeAndre Hopkins.
To begin with, like he's not a fast guy. Like he's just a very good route runner. Like that's
so good. His ball skills are almost the best in the NFL. His ball skills are unreal. Like he knows his timing for going and jumping and receiving that ball. It's unmatched, I think, in the NFL. There's only a few other guys that do it at the same level as him, and he's on a run-heavy offense.
I'm going to take the Titans in this game. I think they're going to Browns.
Yeah, you think so? I do too. I think they should after what we saw last week. The worst O-line in football statistically, the Titans are going against that Browns front seven. If the Browns front seven can make Tannehill's life, which honestly, you know what? I'm going to take the Browns. I think that's going to happen. I think the Browns, honestly, I think their front seven is going to get after Tannehill. And Tannehill, you saw week 1, he was making mistakes against another solid defense in the Saints. So I'm going to take the Browns there. I think
that's the first game we actually didn't have the same prediction.
Yeah. I just think that the Chargers last week, I think their defense has been really bad, and that's why Tennessee, you saw they were able to put up points. The Chargers allowed monster numbers to Dolphins, which obviously electric offense.
Yeah.
But to the Titans allowing 27 points, I think Cleveland's a different animal on defense.
Let's go to the Chargers. Let's go to the Chargers. They play the Vikings.
The 0-2 teams.
2-0
teams.
Like this is an interesting game because I think if the Vikings lose this game, I think Kirk Cousins could be on the trade block.
Yeah, you think so? You think maybe New York?
New York. I've been seeing the Jets
about that, but I don't know how much I believe that.
Yeah, I don't believe a lot of what's going on with Jets quarterback rumors right now. I'm kind of just like taking it. I'm just kind of brushing it off. I'm just like,
yeah.
You're just throwing it in there for whatever reason.
But I generally think that game, man, I think Chargers Vikings, I think that's a contender for the game of the week. I think whatever team loses, I think that the fan base, I think it's almost time to start panicking because that is not the way you want to start this season with those two teams. Those two teams should not be 0-2. I'm very surprised that the Chargers are 0-2. The Vikings have had a tough first two games. Like the Buccaneers are obviously playing a lot better than people thought they were going to. So that was a tough first game for the Vikings. But the Chargers have had not as hard of a schedule, and they're still 0-2. It's not something I saw coming, but I think this could be game of the week.
Let me ask you this. Which team needs to win more out of both of these teams?
I think it's the Chargers. I think the Chargers do because of the number one, the amount of money that they just paid Justin Herbert, and they have all their weapons back. There's no excuse on offense. There's no injuries other than Eckler. Eckler's battling right now an injury. But you saw week one, Joshua Kelly can be effective.
Yeah, he's very serviceable. He's good. He's a very serviceable.
Yeah, he had a rough week last week, but again, tough matchup against that Tennessee very good run defense with Jeffrey Simmons and those boys. But I think the Chargers need to more. I think that division is supposed to be set for them to win the second seed in that division. I think it's going to be Kansas City, as we all expect, and then the Chargers should be second, and then they should make the playoffs. I think they need to win more. I think Herbert needs to prove a point here. I think he's been playing well, but they haven't been able to finish off games the last two games, which is everyone's knock on him. And they're playing a very shaky secondary.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree with you. I'm picking the Chargers to win this game, but I think the Vikings need to win more because Kirk's career, it's ticking. Like he's running out of time.
Yeah,
like he really is running out of time, and he hasn't proven in the playoffs that he can be that guy that you can rely on. And I feel like Jefferson is making him look better than he actually has looked. Like. I know you can say I've heard people say he played well against the Eagles, but they were down. That score does not tell the whole story of that game. They were down by 14 points the entire time. Which
obviously fumbles and all that stuff you got to take into account.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just think Jefferson is just like, how does Jefferson have over 300 yards receiving with no touchdowns? That's
what I was going to bring up. Yeah.
Like, it's like when the Vikings get in the red zone, it's like Kirk just stops looking his direction. Now, I don't know.
But to be fair, defenses are doubling him almost every time in the red zone.
But I think there are times where Jefferson is available one-on-one. Yeah. Like, you got to hit that. Like, I know
he panics.
To hit Hawkins a lot. He likes Hawkinson. That's his safety valve. But I want to see Jefferson getting more touches in the red zone because I think the Vikings will be better if that does happen. But Hurts running out of time. Like, I think I saw a scenario where the Vikings could possibly have 2 wins by week 8. Possibly. Looking at their schedule, tough. And I think he could get traded by that time.
If that is the case and they're 2-8, this is the question. If they do trade Kirk, do they tank?
They could. They very well could. I've heard that. Vikings might tank for a quarterback, get somebody for Justin Jefferson, because Justin Jefferson needs a better quarterback. Like, he does. Like, Kirk Cousins.
Do you really see him leaving the team, though? Jefferson?
He could. I could. And you know what? I think it's going to be hard for him to leave because I think the Vikings are really going to try to keep him.
They're going to try to pay him like $200 a year.
I could see a situation where he does, but I could also see a situation where he takes the bag and stays. So, it's weird. Like, he's the best receiver in the NFL, no question, but I think he just needs a better quarterback. Like, he's putting up monster numbers with an okay
record-breaking numbers. Yeah, record-breaking start numbers.
Like, he's on my fantasy team right now, and he has
me too.
20 points a week. Like,
with no touchdowns. Yeah,
that's insane. Like, you're telling me
which he would have had a TD if he didn't have that super unusual turnover by him with the fumble touchback.
Yeah, that was a weird situation for him.
Yeah.
And the Vikings could have won that game if that touchdown went.
Yeah.
A bunch of what ifs you could throw around there.
But I got Chargers at the end of the day. I think they'll get it done. I agree with you that the Vikings need it. I just think that the Chargers, with all the hype, I think they need the win more because they are supposed to win now. Like that's where they're at. A lot of people still think the Vikings are shaky around the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, yeah.
Plus, they got all pro players on defense.
Yeah, the Vikings defense is. It's not great. It's not great. It hasn't looked good to start up the season. But let's get into Patriots Jets real quick. I'm taking the Patriots, and they've won 14 games in a row versus the Jets, by the way. So it's been a while.
Yeah, I know that. I saw that yesterday. Yeah, that's like Rodgers versus the Bears or Packers versus the Bears. Scratch Rodgers because Jordan Love tore them apart this week or last week too. So, I'd probably agree with you. I think it's going to be super low scoring. But I would probably. That's a tough game for me, man. That's one of the toughest games of the week. Yeah, I'm probably going to shoot with the Patriots too. I think they'll get it done. I think the Jets, it's brutal because their opening schedule was so tough, and to lose Rodgers right away, it's just like, you might start the year rough.
Yeah, he was on my fantasy.
Yeah, I know you lost because you went down. You needed what, 25 points?
Well, I needed 23 points to win. But yeah, it's been a rough go fantasy this year.
Yeah, man.
So
yeah, that's hopefully they'll come this week. It's also been weird football, a lot of injuries. It's been weird to start out the season.
No, yeah, exactly. Well, let's get on to this next game. Bills Commanders. This is a game I think it's going to be very competitive, but I think
there could be an upside.
I think Josh Allen and the Bills will pull it out. I think they'll go to 2-1. Kind of turn their season around after that rough Monday Night Football showing.
I'm going to go with an upset alert here. I'm going to go with the Commanders.
So you're expecting Josh Allen not to have a good game?
I think he could have a good game. I just think that there's going to be an upset this week, number one. There always is. Yeah. And I think that if there is a team that can upset someone, I think it's going to be the Commanders because I do generally think they're playing very good football right now. And the Bills, I don't know, they're not as good as they have been in the last few years. And I don't think they are as good of a team as they have been. And if Josh Allen makes mistakes, I think the Commanders can win this game. So I'm going to go with the Commanders. And I believe they're at home, right? Or they're in Buffalo.
It's in Washington. It's in Washington. It's in Washington.
Yeah, okay. So that's what I thought. So that's why that was another reason why I had leaning Washington is because that place is going to be electric, and I think that defense right now is playing very well, and they can force Josh Allen to make some mistakes so they can get after him.
Yeah, I've said Josh Allen's overrated, but I really don't want that to show up in this game. I just want to take care of business. Show you're one of those guys in the NFL that can get it done against any team.
Yeah, especially if people were calling him a top 3 QB.
I don't even know if he is that right now. I mean,
not right now.
He's got to earn that back, and I think this is the game for him to do that. Put up points, showcase this offense a little bit more.
Yeah,
I think they'll be fine. I think they found a new running back, James Cook.
Yeah, James Cook's looked unreal so far.
I like that offense. I liked how they looked against the Raiders. I think the Raiders are better than the Commanders. So I think the Bills will beat the Commanders just because of that. But I think it'll be a 7-point win. I think it'll be close.
Yeah, be close, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be close. And another close game that I want to talk about is your Falcons and the Lions. This is a game I thought about. I honestly thought about picking the Falcons. I'm not going to lie. But I'm going to go with the Lions. They lost to the Seahawks last week. I think they're going to be very motivated coming into this game. And they're going to win at home. I mean, I think they'll get it done.
Yeah, fair. I think it's a very close game. I think the Lions right now are opening up at -3.5. It's a very close game. You know me. You know who I'm going to pick. I think that the Lions have to contain Bijan Robinson. If they don't, I don't think they win that game because The offense right now for the Lions, it's solid, but our defense has actually looked very good. I think their O-line is really good, so Goff probably will have time to throw, which is an issue, I think. But, if we get Jeff Okudah back this week, Jeff Okudah, Richie Grant, Jesse Bates, AJ Terrell, those guys are all playing at a super high level. Okudah, we don't know yet. But I think Terrell's playing at a super high level. The matchup that's interesting is our nickel corner is going to be on, which I believe is Trey Flowers is going to be on Amon-Ra St. Brown. So that's going to be interesting. But also, they're missing David Montgomery. They're missing CJ Gardner-Johnson. He's out for the year. That defense has been, they right now have the worst tackling rate in football, the Detroit Lions. So if you guys can't wrap up Bijan Robinson, I think it'll be a long day for the Lions. So I'm going to go with my Falcons because I think they have everything set up to run all over the Lions.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Because the secondary against Seattle, it looked
Bad.
little
And Kenneth Walker was also playing well against them. And
like Geno Smith was slinging it.
animal.
He was slinging it that game. Like he was throwing the deep ball whenever he wanted. Like
yeah, easily. And like Ritter, obviously, he doesn't have to do that. But if we can get Kyle Pitts involved in the red zone, Drake London had a bounce back week last week, played really well. And again, Bijan's the main guy. If they can't stop him, it's going to be a long day. And I think that Bijan could have a monster week this week, and I wouldn't be surprised.
I just think the Lions' defensive line is going to be a problem for Desmond Ritter. I do.
Yeah, but yeah, that's fair, which is really weird with the Lions because they can put pressure on you, but their run defense to start out the year has not been very good. So it's weird. It's really weird. I don't know how that works, but like I said, they missed the most tackles out of any team in the league right now, and obviously we've seen with Bijan, he'll make 4 guys miss in a row.
Yeah.
So if you can't stop him, I think that's what will change the game. If you can contain Bijan Robinson, the Lions can win that game 100%. But if our run game is just dominant and we chew the clock like Arthur Smith likes to do, I think the Falcons could take it. Regardless, I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a close game. I
think it'll be high scoring. I think it could turn out kind of like the Seahawks game.
I think it could too.
I would like to see, that would be interesting if Ritter's slinging it like that too. Like,
well, he wasn't like, he made a couple misreads against the Packers in the first half, but if you look in the second half, man, he played really well, and he did exactly what it took to make that comeback against the Packers.
Yeah, he was running it with his legs, like he was making things happen. Like I've been impressed. I've been impressed with him so far. Like, I didn't think the Falcons would start out 2-0, and they've looked very.
Dude, the NFC South, they're 6-2 combined.
Yeah. Yeah, you got the Saints at 2-0, which I think everyone expected that, but no one expected the Buccaneers to be good.
2-0. Yeah,
no one
expected that.
Let's go to the Saints because they play the Packers, the team you beat by 1 point.
On a comeback.
I don't know how you guys won that. I was like, I think Jordan Love, but he didn't.
Defense.
It was that catch because you guys got the penalty, and then they were reviewing it. And it was weird.
Are you talking about to end the game?
Yeah.
That was actually an offensive penalty, and then on the Packers, so it was going to be added on to. It was either going to be 4th and 15 now, and then they reviewed it, realized it wasn't a catch, and then we declined the penalty because it was on 4th down that they made that throw. Declined the penalty. It was a drop. Game over. It was a weird ending to it, but basically.
You think the Packers can get it done against the Saints?
I think they will. I think the Saints offense is not looking good right now, regardless that they've been winning games. Carr has not looked great. And I think that Jordan Love, man, he's legit. I think last week he only had 150 yards, but I think you need to have actually watched the game to know why, because we had 2 40, 50-yard pass interference calls that moved them all the way up the field. He easily could have had 250 last week. 3 touchdowns, no interceptions.
So accurate. He's so accurate. It's effortless.
Good, man. Yeah, he is.
It's effortless. Legit. He'll put the ball right on target. I've never seen.
We'll see if Aaron Jones is back. Christian Watson, I think, is supposed to play this week finally. If Aaron Jones and Watson are back, I think the Packers get it done. Obviously, a little bit of the Falcons fan in me hopes they lose the Saints, but that's not why I'm saying it. I generally just think that the Packers are going to bounce back from last week, and it's their first home game. Lambeau Field's going to be rocking.
Yeah. I think you should want the Saints to lose because it'll help you in the division.
I do want the Saints to lose, but I don't think that's not why I'm picking them to lose. I just think that I think the Packers are very good, and I think they're going to bounce back last week, and I think they'll get their two best skill positions back this week.
Since the Saints struggled against the Panthers defense, like the Packers defense is exponentially better.
Yeah.
I think Derek Carr will struggle. I think
he hasn't looked good. He's been struggling. He does not look good. He does not look like the same quarterback that he did in.
I think, mark my words on this. I think Derek Carr will throw 2 to 3 picks in this game.
Yeah, that's not a bad take at all. I wouldn't be surprised. I think Jordan Love might have another very good game. Do you think he has another 3 touchdown passes?
Yeah.
Or more? Yeah, I think he could.
Aaron Jones is playing. He might throw 2, but
yeah,
I think he still. I think he still can do that. I mean, the Saints' defense is nothing special, so like I think he'll dice up that defense with no problem.
Yeah, I think their defense is a bit overrated. I think that they got a good pass rush. They still have a good front seven, but yeah, their secondary, other than Lattimore, like I know they have Tyrann Mathieu too, but it's not very like their defense is. I would say is a bit overrated for sure. So
no, I 100%. Texans, Jags. Who do you got? I think this is easy.
I think, my prediction for this game, I think it's going to be a show from the two quarterbacks. I think they are going to put up numbers this week, and I think it's going to be closer than people think. The Jags, I think, are going to get it done, maybe by a touchdown, maybe by 2 possessions, but I think that both quarterbacks will put on a show. I think Lawrence needs to bounce back. He had a rough week last week.
Yeah.
Ridley will have a better week. That whole offense will play better. ETN needs to hopefully get things going. The Jags should get this done, but I think that the two quarterbacks are going to put on a show.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Jags. And I don't think it'll be close. No. I just think when Trevor Lawrence has a bad week, he comes back even better. So I expect him to throw 4 touchdown passes with 300 yards. I'm expecting.
We'll see. He hasn't had a game like that yet, so we'll see.
This is the game for him to do it because solidify this team as the favorites in that division. You got to win this game. It's must win for Jacksonville. Yeah. They can't fall to 1 and 2. They can't.
Yeah, I know, especially with the Titans being 1-1, possibly going 2-1.
Yeah. I mean, it's competitive division. Like those two teams are going to be fighting for it. Like I've been saying all year long, like the Titans are going to give the Jags problems. Like they will.
I still think Tennessee's going to slow down, but we'll see. I just think that their O-line is really rough, and I don't think Tannehill's going to be consistently good.
Yeah, I don't know about him. I can't say he will be good consistently, but he's been good. He was last week, so that's all I need to see. Week by week, it's week by week. Like it's a different season each week. Like that's how the NFL is.
Yeah, 100%.
The Seahawks are taking on the Panthers. That's the next game. Who do you got in that game? Is there any?
I mean, I think the obvious choice is probably Seattle. I don't think Carolina looks good at all. I think they look brutal. I think they're missing their best player on defense, other than Brian Burns, which is J.C. Horn. They look like a mess, man. Like Bryce Young was lining up behind the wrong lineman.
Are you concerned at all with Bryce Young throwing the ball 30 plus times and him not reaching the 200-yard mark?
No, because their offensive line is really not good, and they have no weapons, man. Like their best weapon is Hayden Hurst. They have no weapons. Like it's just not. Terrence Marshall's a very good receiver.
Well, they have Adam Thielen, but
he's not getting open, man. Like he's not a difference maker that can get open anytime he wants. He's just not getting open anymore. Which he's older now, so it makes sense. But they don't have anyone that's a playmaker that can just get open. Miles Sanders is struggling. He's not getting any touchdown upside. It's just it looks ugly in Carolina right now, and I just think that Seattle, after just playing a very good game, a little controversial ending in the Lions game, I think that the Seahawks just look good. I think they're going to get it done. I don't really think – I might not even be close. it's ugly in Carolina right now.
Yeah, I agree. I got the Seahawks in that one too. I think that's a quick one. That's a quick one. I don't really need to
Yeah.
say much. You kind of said everything.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Bears and Chiefs. I I mean, we kind of already talked about
As another quick one back to back. I just don't
Chiefs.
like, even though the Chiefs don't look great right now, I think their offense is shaky. The Jaguars game was probably last week one of the most boring games of the week. It just nothing was going on. It was all defensive from two not very good defensive teams. It was just ugly, and I think. But at the same time, KC's bound to get back on track at some point. Like, I know they're 1-1, but they're bound to start putting up those numbers that they normally do, and it could start this week. If
Yeah, I
Jordan
mean,
Love was tearing them apart, I
with
think,
Kelsey and Jones, like getting those
yeah,
in rhythm because they just came back. That was their first game last week, so getting their
yeah.
stuff back into it. I think I will say this though. I think Justin Fields will have a better game. He's got to show that he can actually sit in the pocket and get comfortable. But it's gonna be hard to do that when you got Chris Jones running at you. So I don't.
100%. I think he could rush for over 100 yards this week, though.
But I think he has to run for the Bears to be somewhat decent.
Yeah, they will, but I think he'll have to get out of that pocket because I think Chris Jones, like you said, will be coming at him most of the game.
Yeah, it's it's looking rough for Chicago. I got a friend that's a Bears fan. He's just like, we're terrible.
Yeah, it's rough right now. It's rough in Chicago for sure.
Like, are they really gonna like? Because their coaches, they're all like, most of them are second year. So are they really gonna tear this whole thing down like after this year? Like,
I don't know. They need some offensive change. There's something that needs to change because it does not look good. It
it's
looks rough.
bad. And you know what?
Everywhere, passing game and the running game. Their running backs haven't done anything either. Even though I think Roshan Johnson's the best back in that field, like backfield, it's just not looking good. Like,
You know what's crazy? They had Justin Fields ranked above Trevor Lawrence in the NFL top 100 rankings.
I never had a problem with that because it's based off 2023 and it's NFL players that create that list, and he broke tons of rushing records for quarterbacks, and he's the third quarterback ever to have 1,000
Better than
yards.
Trevor
And
Lawrence.
Trevor
Though?
Lawrence, a lot of people love to give him that. It's because of the playoffs that a lot of people put Trevor Lawrence over Fields last year. But in terms of regular season, I think they were right there with each other. And because of the records that Fields got, I never was shocked by it. Plus, it's the Bears media. It looked like they're finally having like a solid franchise quarterback. I think it didn't surprise me at all. I didn't really have a problem with it. Because I knew that Lawrence this year would probably be higher than him. So it never really bothered me.
Yeah, yeah.
Plus, it's the NFL player's opinion. They're the one that decided it. So they're the ones that make that list.
Yeah, well, they needed to make a different decision there because I think that was questionable.
Do you think based on the regular season or just because of the playoffs?
I mean, I think it was based off the regular season too. I mean, the Jags, like, yeah, they were shaky in the regular season, but I think Trevor Lawrence was always good. Like, he was always keeping them in there. Like, he was always the reason why they were like what they were barely over 500, but he was the reason why they were winning games. Like, he was the main.
Fair enough.
I know Justin Fields, like, I feel like when quarterbacks rush, it kind of gets it gets overhyped a little bit because it's exciting. Like, you love to see a quarterback run. Like, everyone does.
Yeah. But he does it at like a level like Lamar does it, where it's just electric. Like, he's out of there and gone. He's faster than everyone else.
Yeah, sure. But I think the Bears have gotten away from that. I think they've got away from running the football with him specifically. I think
everything is ugly.
Everything
is bad.
They need to do more design QB runs.
Yeah, like they were doing last year. They were legit doing that last year, and I think they should continue that. I agree with you.
And like Khalil Herbert is just, I mean, I love the guy. He's got some good things to his game, but he's just not consistent enough to make that Bears rushing attack a threat. Like, he's not good.
And I don't even think he's the best back. I think Roshan Johnson is taking over that backfield.
Yeah, I think
he has been.
I think Khalil Herbert will take a back seat completely at some point.
Maybe not a back seat, but I think that I think Dante Foreman will be almost long gone in that offense. I don't think he's going to have much
I thought
work,
he was
but I
going to
think,
be way more involved than he has.
yeah, no, well, that's because Roshan just simply took his spot. Like Roshan is a very good running back. He's overshadowed because he was Bijan's backup at Texas. And obviously Bijan being the talent he is, you're going to get overshadowed being his backup, but Roshan is a very good running back, and I think he's the best back in that field.
Yeah, that's what my friend said. That's a Bears fan. He said the exact same thing. He's like, yeah, Johnson's the best running back we've
Yeah.
got. But yeah, that's Chiefs win all day long. All day.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. I don't think it's really a debate, to be honest.
Last two games, the Monday Night Football doubleheaders. These have been.
Yeah.
This is a banger week for Monday Night Football. Eagles and Bucks is the first game. 2-0 teams. This is going to be a good game. I think the Eagles will pull it out. It'll be close because the Eagles are notorious for having close games early on in the season, not looking great.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think the Eagles will. It'll be one touchdown. It'll be a one score game, but I think they'll win.
Me too. I think the Eagles will I think the Eagles will take them down. I think that D line might wreak havoc on Baker Mayfield. I think Jalen Carter, dude, that kid's a stud.
Oh, he is.
He's so good. And I think obviously it's easier when the rest of your D line is really good. But Jalen Carter, like, man, he is so good. And I know like there were a lot of people that were saying my Falcons should have drafted him. But let's be real, no one wanted that because the Eagles would have Bijan Robinson, and no one wants that. So I think it's fine that Jalen's there, but he is a stud, and I think that D line is gonna. I think they'll get after Baker, man. I think it'll be close too because I think the Bucks offense just looked better than it has than that everyone expected. It just looks good.
But they have weapons, though. Like that's the thing that people were
100%. Yeah, people have just like forgotten about Chris Godwin.
They were just. I feel like when it came to the summertime, like people were just looking like, oh, like that quarterback situation is just. It's not Tom Brady. Like he's not there anymore. Like what are they gonna do? Like they still have Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. Like no one brought that up. They still have two.
Yeah.
I'm just like, how do you?
Yeah, they still have one of the best wide receiver twos in the NFL. Like, obviously, everyone wants to talk about Waddle, Smith, T. Higgins, but like people just forgot about Chris Godwin. Like, he's elite.
Like he's like that's a top wide receiver duo in the league still. Like,
yeah, and Mike Evans had 180 yards last week.
Yeah,
like,
he's good. Like he's
1,000 yards every year.
Like you just throw it up to him and he's gonna go get it. Like
he gets 1,000 yards every year for a reason. He's one of the most consistent wide receivers in the league, regardless of quarterback.
Are you concerned at all with the Eagles' offensive line? Because me personally, I kind of am these first 2 weeks, especially against the Vikings last game.
So you mean in general, not just like this week? Yeah.
Because they were letting Jalen Hurts get sacked and get hit against the Vikings, who were not a good pass rushing team.
Yeah, that's what I noticed a lot too last week. But to be fair, I think the offensive coordinator of the Eagles did a poor job last week in terms of play design. I think he was trying to get Jalen to scramble way too much. And that was what was hurting them because he just immediately would try to scramble and then get wrapped up because it just wasn't there. Which honestly, that's what I would say is I'm more worried about their offensive coach than I am their offensive line because, like you said, their pass rush isn't good on the Vikings, but neither is the secondary. And guys were just not getting open. Like Jalen was having nothing downfield. The announcers kept saying it. Like he got Devontae Smith, but Devontae Smith had 130 out of their 190 receiving yards.
Yeah, that's bad.
Like it just there's no way AJ Brown's not getting open. Like there's no way that they're getting locked up by these Viking secondary. Like that's not happening. Dallas Goedert has not been involved at all.
Do you think
like it's just
Hurts?
That's what I'm more worried about, I would say.
Do you think the Jalen Hurts hype train could die after this year?
No, I still think he's an elite quarterback. I think right now it's just a slow start, but you don't have a season like he did last year if you're not elite. Like I know that his team's very good. He has the most unstoppable play in football. That QB sneak is the most insane play I've ever seen. No one can do it. Everyone complains about it, yet every team can do it. They just can't do it as effective.
Yeah, because they're pushing him in there, and it's just
Plus Jalen with the strength of his legs, like that guy was squatting 600 at Oklahoma. Like
Yeah,
the
like
guy's a monster.
like
So
strength and conditioning coach was like, hey, like you need to calm down a little bit. Like
yeah.
you need to pump the brakes on the lifting. Like we don't need you injured. And he's like, nah, like I need to get my lifting. I'm like, dude,
The guy's a hard worker. He's a great leader. I don't think he'll have the year he did last year based on the fact that the Eagles schedule is totally different. But I think AJ Brown will get going. Last week he would have had about a 40-yard touchdown if it wasn't for Rashad Penny's hold. So, it's interesting. I want to see what they're going to do in the run game. I want to see if DeAndre Swift is the main guy now, or if they're still going to sneak in other backs, which I don't know why they do that. I mean, Swift clearly showed last week that he should be the guy.
I think that will continue to be a thing, like them rotating running backs, because it's always been a thing.
And Jalen Hurts is still going to get all the goal line carries.
Yep. Yeah, he's pretty much the running back when it comes to the red zone. Like
100%. Yeah. In terms of the 5 yards in, yeah.
Like all that stuff they do is revolved around him possibly running. So that's all part of their offense. But yeah, I said this during the summertime too, and people were like giving me like kind of crap about it. And I was like, Eagles are going to start off slow, and they are. So whoever said
they're still 2-0, but yeah, it is different. It's different Eagles team than we thought we'd see for sure.
No, it's definitely different. And another team that's starting off slow but hasn't won yet is the Bengals. And they play the Rams. I'm not worried. Now, if they
you think they win this game finally?
Yes, I think they win this game. I think Jamar Chase will get back on track. He's had a rough 2 weeks. I think
is Burrow even playing though?
I don't know if he's questionable.
Because if Burrow's not playing, then
if he doesn't,
I'm probably going to take the Rams.
The Rams are going to win if he doesn't play. But if Burrow plays, they're going to get it done. They're going to get it done. But the Rams have looked better. That's so crazy that I had him as a sleeper team. And you were in that live when a bunch of people were saying didn't know ball or whatever. Like, look at it.
Yeah. Everyone was calling you insane for that.
Like, look, like they're 1-1. They've looked pretty decent. Matthew Stafford looked good against a 49ers defense where he doesn't have Cooper Kupp in that game. And he still plays decent. I know he threw like 2 picks, but they only lost by a touchdown.
Yeah.
They were right there. Matthew
Stafford, they have Puka Nacua.
Yeah, he's been great. He's like, I think he's behind Jefferson in receiving yards, correct?
Yeah, he's breaking. Yeah, or Tyreek Hill, something like that. Yeah, it might be. No, it's Jefferson. It's Jefferson. Yeah, you're right. But he's breaking all the rookie receiving records at the moment. He had 20 targets last game, man.
Notice how they're using him too. They're using him the exact same way they would use Cooper Kupp.
Exactly, but that's also the way that Stafford plays quarterback. Like I think Puka's I think he's talented. I think he's a big product of the way Stafford plays QB. He loves his go-to guy. He'll pick one guy and he will use him for the majority of the game and target him as many times as he wants.
And I said the key for the Rams to be a good football team was to have Stafford get rid of the football quickly, and he has been doing.
Yeah, and I think Kyron Williams has been really good for them.
I like what they're doing, and their defense is not terrible. Like they're getting to the passer. They still have Aaron Donald. Like I know they lost Leonard Floyd, and they don't have Ramsey, but I still think with Stafford and Donald, with that core there, and then when Kupp comes back in week 5, I'm telling you, watch out for the
rematch of the Super Bowl 2 years ago. I think. Honestly, it wouldn't shock me. I think I'm going to go with the Rams this week. I don't think because even if Burrow plays, he's not at 100%, and the last 2 weeks he hasn't been at 100%, and he has just not looked good. Like
I saw him limping off the field, kind of like making faces. Like he looked like he was really hurting. So
everything just looks off with that team. Even the play calling, like everything just does not look good. Like I don't know what's going on with it. The run game is almost non-existent.
It was like that last year, though. That's
Their
why
O-line is still bad.
That's why I'm not hitting. Yeah, that's one thing that's a problem because if their O-line cannot protect him, you're paying Joe Burrow all that money for him to have a short career.
Yeah, and especially this week, you have Aaron Donald coming after you. Like, I don't know. It wouldn't shock me if the Rams could win this week.
They need to take care of their quarterback. Like they're doing a very, very bad job of doing that at the moment.
Yeah, like you took a risk when you took Jamar Chase over Penei Sewell, and now you're seeing the effects of it.
It took a little bit, but we saw the effects of it in the playoffs when they made the Super Bowl too. Like it's not like it was like all sunshine and rainbows. Like I mean, Joe Burrow was on the ground constantly. Like
he was still the most sacked quarterback that year.
Yeah, like he's still getting hit a lot. Like you need like they on paper that line should be better. Like I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. Like I don't. They made upgrades, but it's just not panning out for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't get it. But those are all the week 3 predictions. That was a lot of games.
Yeah. Always the double headers on Monday now.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the double header.
I don't know why they're doing it, to be honest. Because are they just not playing as many games on Sunday?
I mean, it appears that way. I mean, it appears that way. I don't like it because I like to watch one game on Monday. I don't like to watch 2.
Fair enough. Yeah,
that's the one thing I don't like about it. But it's more football on Monday, so I'll take it. But
yeah, it's good for fantasy football.
No, yeah, and hopefully I can get a win this week in fantasy football. I mean, I haven't gotten.
Hopefully. Yeah,
I've yet to get one. So, yeah. But
this might be the week.
This has been the Take Podcast. This is Matt Marsh, big Falcons fan. Go check out my TikTok. We'll be going live at some point. I don't know when. We kind of just do it whenever we feel like it. But I appreciate you hopping on, dude. This has been.
Yeah, man, dude. I appreciate you having me. It was super looking forward to it. It was fun, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. But this has been another episode of the Take Podcast. I'm your host, Jackson Burleson. Thank you for tuning in.
Talk to me, baby. Talk to me nice. I'm from another world, baby, yeah. Broadway paradise. They think I'm way too cold, cause I put my heart up on ice.